So hi Year 5, Mr. Simons here. I'm going to be taking over your music sessions for the next few weeks as your music teacher from Musica has been furloughed. He's not allowed into schools, so I'm going to just come and keep you going and give you some different activities. So the first thing we're going to do is a listening activity. All right. So I'm just going to share with you my screen here so I can just talk you through what's going to happen. Okay. So you'll get a slide that looks like this and it'll tell you the artist or the group that we're going to listen to during the week. And then you get the clip. And then you're going to be asked some different elements of music. So the elements are the titles at the top. So the first element is instrumentation. And it asks you what instruments could you hear being played today. So you'd put your hand up and come up with all the instruments that you can. And then on the next slide, I will put the answers and you can see how close you were. The next element of music is the tempo, and tempo means speed. Now, all these words on the left here, these are the Italian words. I've told you before, and I'm sure your musica teachers have told you, that music wasn't invented in Italy, but the Italians were the sort of first to write it down, and therefore all of the words associated with music are Italian. So the Italian words are on the left, and their meaning is on the right. So the first one is presto, really fast, allegro, fast, andante, walking pace, adagio, slow, and lento, really slow. So the tempo is that pulse of the music. It's not necessarily how fast somebody's playing, it's that internal pulse, that speed, that sort of drum beat of the music. Dunk, 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 dunk. So that is the pulse, and that's the speed. So you're looking at that to define which one of these it is. So again, once you've heard it, you'll be able to sort of roughly work out which one you think it is, and we can do a vote, and then I'll be able to show you on the next slide which one I think it is. The next element is dynamics. Now again, I'm sure you've done this on your P cornets. So on the left are the Italian words, on the right is the meaning. So we've got fortissimo, that's the loudest anyone can sort of play. Forte is loud. Mezzo forte, fairly loud, sort of in the middle. Mezzo piano, it's a little bit quieter. Again, sort of in the middle. Piano is quiet. And pianissimo is really quiet. And these symbols here, so fortissimo in music would be FF. And forte is F. Mezzo forte, you'd write MF, MP, P, and double P. It saves the composer having to write this long word when all they have to do is write PP under the music. Okay? So the next element is dynamics. So I'll be asking you what volume you thought most of the piece was. The next element is pitch. So did you think that the majority of the song or something or piece of music that you heard, do you think it was high? Do you think the pitch was sort of in the middle, or do you think it was low? So for instance, if you had a male singer, male singers wouldn't really sing high. They haven't got a high voice because of their Adam's apple, so they mostly sing medium to low. However, if you had a female singer, they can sort of sing medium, but most female singers will sing at the high point. Okay, so that's the pitch. Now, this is a tricky one. Another element is tonality, and that's sort of to do with emotions. It's how the music makes you feel. So if, in general, if the music makes you feel quite happy and upbeat, it's going to be what we call major. If it gets you thinking, you sort of feel a bit melancholy, a little bit sad, it's probably going to be minor. There are, as always, as you've found out in this world, always exceptions to the rule, but most of the time that's a good rule of thumb. If it makes you feel happy, it's going to be in the major key. If you're feeling a bit sort of sad, depressed, down, it's going to be in the minor key. Okay? And then, this is where we throw it over to you. It's your opinion. The teacher will ask one or two of you, how did it make you feel? And I've given you some words at the bottom. Now, I don't like the word bored. If you weren't interested or it's something you didn't, enjoy, use the word uninterested rather than bored. Okay, bored's not a great way to describe music, but you can say you were uninterested. But not only that, you've got to explain why. So you could say, the music made you feel really happy because it was upbeat, there was lots going on, there was a big drum beat and it was really quite fast and it made you feel really energetic. Or you might say you were uninterested because actually the music was very similar. There wasn't much interest. We didn't have many instruments in there. It made you feel quite sad. Okay, so you could say you were uninterested. All right, so that's how the slide works. And then the last slide is just a little bit of information about the artist and the song. So that's the listening activity. I've explained that. So without further ado, we're going to work through the first one. Okay, guys, enjoy. Okay, hi guys, I'm going to help you learn to read the treble clef and the stave. I know some of you have done a really good job, also some of you are still finding it a little bit tricky, okay, so I'm going to go through it really steadily and hopefully more of you will be able to get there. So, the stave are the 5 lines, okay, and the 5 lines also have 4 spaces in between them, okay. So here are our 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I've taught you the rhymes for both. You have face is in a space. So this one is face. F, A, C, E. And if it helps, I'll number them 1, 2, 3, 4. So F, A, C, E. And these ones, the lines, I gave you that mnemonic. Every good boy deserves football. Every good boy deserves football. And that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Every good boy deserves football. Now, wherever the circle is, tells you if you need to use face or if you need to use every good boy deserves football. If the circle has got a line through it like that, you can see there's a line in the middle, then you need to use the rhyme every good boy deserves football. And if the circle is in between 2 lines like this, then you use face, because you can see it's in a space. This one's not in a space, this one's got a line through it. Okay, so face is in a space, every good boy deserves football. Alright, and you always start at the bottom, so 1 is always here. 1, every good boy deserves football. So I'm going to draw 5 lines here, and we're going to work out a few of the notes. 5. There's my stave. Okay, so I'm going to draw a note here. So the first thing we have to decide is, do we use face or do we use every good boy deserves football? Well, let's have a look. Is it in a space or has it got a line through it? Well, I think it's got a line going through it. Can you see? So that means we need to use every good boy deserves football. So we start on the bottom line, we put our pen here, every good boy. And because that line there is in the middle, that must be a B. Okay? Let's try another one. I'm going to put one here. So let's remind ourselves, is it in a space or has it got a line in the middle? Let's have a look. Well, there's no line in the middle, so it must be in a space. So we're looking for face. So here we go. First space is here, F, A. So that has to be an A. It's in that second space. 1, 2, F, A. Here we go. Let's try one more. I'm going to put a note here. So we'll make the decision. Is it a space or is it a line? We can clearly see there is a line going through it there. We can clearly see that. So, every good. So, it's the second line, it's a G. And we have made back B, A, G. And that's how you read the music using the two rhymes. Now, stay with the video because we're going to go onto the computer and I'm going to show you some of the words and we'll see if you can work them out. Alright? So, here is the computer version of what I've just shown you. So, every good boy deserves football. And those are the 5 lines. And then face is in the space. So we have to make that decision. Now the 2 rhymes are up here in case you forget them. So the first decision, is there a line in the middle of the note? Yes. So we're going to use every good boy deserves football. So we start at the bottom, every good boy. So that is in the B space. So I'm looking for a line. There is no line in the middle of that note. It's inside the space. So I use face. F, A. It's in the second space. F, A. So that's got to be an A. And then, again, we're looking, there's a line in the middle. So we're back to every good boy deserves football. Every good boy deserves. So that is a D for bad. I'm going to show you one more and then you're going to have a go by yourselves. So, every good boy, because there's a line going through it. Face, F-A-C-E, a line, every good boy deserves. So we get the word bed. Right, your turn. I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Off you go. Okay, so the first one, there's a line in the middle. Every good boy. Second one, in a space, F-A. And the last one, in a line again, every good. So you should have got the word bag. And to be fair, it should be this quick. You should make that decision, right? There's a line, every good boy. There's a space, F-A. Okay, it should be really that fast for you now. So let's try another one. Little hint, these two are the same. So once you know that one, it's not going to change. Okay, here we go. So it's in a space, F-A-C-E. And these two are on that second line, every good. So it's got to be G and a G, and you get the word egg. Okay, Let's go a tiny bit harder because I know you guys are really clever. Let's try this one. So I'll give you a little bit longer. See if you can work out the 4 notes and the word. Okay, so the first one, it's got a line in it, so every good boy. It's got a line, every. It's in a space, F-A. It's in a line, every good boy deserves. And you get the word bead. And we're going to try one more today. I'm going to give you this one. Off you go. Okay, so it's in the space, the top space, F-A-C-E, face is in a space. And these 3, they've all got a line. So, every good boy deserves, every good, every. And you get the word edge. Right, now, the next thing we're going to do a little bit of composition, okay? I'm not sure if you've done any on your P-bone yet, I suspect not. But you did do some with me over the last couple of years, so it's just a little bit of a refresher, a little bit of a reminder, and then we're going to extend it, okay? So, you're going to need your whiteboard and your pen. We're going to just practice drawing a few things, and then away we go. So, the first thing you need to be able to draw is that treble clef. I'll just remind you of the symbol. Oh no, my pen doesn't work. Ah! Let's find another pen. Okay, we've got another pen. Here we go. So, the treble clef. That's the treble clef, if you remember. And it's at the start of every line of music that you play on your P-bone. The treble clef is not a note. I don't pick up my instrument and start playing that. It just tells me that the notes that I'm going to write next to it are for a high instrument. And obviously the P-bone is a high instrument because it's quite small, so it can play all of these notes. If I were to pick up a trombone though, I wouldn't be able to play these notes because the trombone plays the low notes and they use a different sort of clef. So the treble clef is for the high notes, all right? So just to remind you how to draw on, the number 6, put a little hat on it, and then you go all the way down and do a little flick. You remember those? I'll show you one more time. And number 6. A little hat on it, all the way down, and do a flick. Okay, so you can just practice a few of those on your board. Just spend 30 seconds or so. So you can pause the video. And we're back in. Here we go. So, we've drawn our treble clefs. So we need to set up our music. So, To start with, we're going to draw one line across, and we draw one treble clef at the start. There. Now, the musical notes we're going to use today, we're going to use a crotchet. It's worth 1. Our minims, worth 2. Our quavers, if you remember, they're worth a half each, so you need 2. Half and a half make 1. We're going to use a dotted minim, and that's worth 3 beats. If you remember, 3 frogs. And we're also going to use the crotchet rest. There it is. And that's worth 1 silence. Okay? Hopefully you remembered those symbols and you've played them on your P-bone as well. Alright? If not, don't worry, I'll be able to help you through it. So, we write a number 4 at the top and a number 4 at the bottom to tell us that there are 4 beats in a bar. Okay? That's what we're going to do. And you start putting the notes inside the line. So, I draw a crotchet, and I draw my minim, and I draw another crotchet. In fact, I might turn those into quavers. There we are. There. Just put that into the middle. Now I've got to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to put in my bar line. That musical full stop. Okay. Hopefully you guys can remember. You have done this for 2 years with me. But it's just hopefully a bit of a reminder for you. So the important thing is each bar adds up to that magic number of 4. Okay? I'm going to draw another bar, so I might use the dotted minim. That's worth 3 beats. And I might use a crotchet rest, and that's worth 1. 3 and 1 make 4, so I put my line in. And then my, right, 2 quavers. 2 more quavers, and a minim. And again, it's made 4, so I can put my line in. Alright? I then get the drum, because you're going to be using drums for the next few weeks. There it is. And using your frogs and your tadpoles, you're going to play the line. Okay? So, frog, 2 frogs, tadpole, 3 frogs, shh. Tadpole, tadpole, 2 frogs. Now your music teacher might be teaching you tea, coffee. If you can remember that, use tea, coffee. It's entirely up to you. But I taught you frog, tadpole, 2 frogs. I taught you those, so I'm going to go with the ones that I taught you. Okay, but whichever you find easiest. So I'm going to play my drum. Just to remind you, the 2 frogs, 2 frogs, 2 frogs. Hit on 2. And the frogs moves forward. And the same for the 3 frogs. 3 frogs. So it's worth 3 beats, 1, and then 2 bounces. 2, 3. Okay? Again, it should just be a reminder. So from the beginning, frog, 2 frogs, tadpole, 3 frogs, shh, tadpole, tadpole, 2 frogs. So I've played my composition. So I'm going to let you guys write a little composition like that. It shouldn't take you long. Play it, and then we're going to extend it a little bit. All right. So pause the video here, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm hoping that that went really well and you were able to pick that up very quickly, because we have done it before. It's a bit of a refresher. Now, something we haven't done before is changing this top number. So I'm going to show you how that works. So I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to draw all my treble clef. And this time, instead of putting a 4 at the top, I'm only going to put a 3. So there are only 3 beats in a bar and not 4. So this time the magic number has changed. When I get to 3, I have to put my bar line in. Okay? So I'll just show you. 1, 2, 3, bar line. That is worth 3 all by itself, bar line. Quavers, quavers, crotchet, 1, 2, 3, bar line. Crotchet rest, min-in, 1, 2, 3, bar line. So now I've got 3 beats in the bar, and I'm going to play it. Frog, 2 frogs, 3 frogs, tadpole, frog, shh, 2 frogs. And it adds a different feel to the music. I'll play it on my drum. Now, when the music's got 3 beats at the top, it's called a waltz. And that's the waltz that they use on Strictly Come Dancing when they go round in the circle together. It's called a waltz because there's only 3 beats in a bar. And it's spelt W-A-L-T-Z, a waltz. So this time, I want you to draw your line. Oh, I just rubbed that out. Draw your line and see if you can do 3 beats in a bar. Okay? So, pause the video here and I'll see you in a little while. Okay, hopefully those 3 beats went really well. But I wonder what happens if we change that number again. So, I'm going to draw another line. I'll go up a little bit here. There we are. There we go. Now this time we're going to change that top number. We could go 2. We could go 5. We could go 6. I'm thinking 5. I want 5 beats in a bar. So now the magic number has changed. It's no longer 4. This here, called the time signature, has told us the magic number is now 5. So, I could write a dotted min-in and a min-in, and that would make 5. I could write a min-in, and a crotchet, and that would make 5. I could do 10 quavers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I draw 3 bars of music, each adding up to 5. So it now goes like this. So you can change this number here and it will affect how many beats are in a bar. I'm going to give you a choice now. You can either have 2 beats in a bar, 3, 5, 6 or 7. So it's now your choice. You can put the top number to one of those and make sure your bars add up and then play it on your drum. You can then, once you've finished it, swap with a friend and you'll be able to play theirs. But the important thing is you check and make sure that their bars are accurate and add up to the top number in their time signature. Okay? So have some fun, guys, and I will see you next week.